here's Brody Brazil.
You know, it's amazing how time flies because it was basically exactly a year ago this time we first started hearing the rumors of a potential Major League Baseball game at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And I was wondering, how are they going to pull this off? Why would you even want to try pulling this off? It's very difficult and probably expensive to do. There were renderings, there were promises, and now we're getting a look at the real thing. The 2025 Speedway Classic, it's right around the corner, August 2nd. I think that's a Sunday, between the Braves and Cincinnati Reds. And so this is actually the third game of a series. They're going to play Thursday and Friday, skip a day in Cincinnati, and then come down to Bristol, Tennessee, and finish off this series between Atlanta and Cincinnati. But preparations have been well underway, obviously, for the whole year's time, but in the last couple weeks and months, they've been putting together the field. I'll have some exclusive shots and perspectives and show you what it looks like already down in Bristol, Tennessee. But this is pretty amazing that baseball's trying this, that they're going to pull it off, and that we're going to see how it works on August 2nd, 2025. The Bristol Motor Speedway is expecting more than 100,000 baseball fans. Now, it can hold a lot more than that for a NASCAR race. I think the total capacity is somewhere north of 150,000. They're saying conservatively 100,000 baseball fans expected for this final game of the series. It's technically going to be the first either American or National League game ever played in the state of Tennessee. And if you look at a map, Bristol, Tennessee is basically like halfway between Cincinnati and Atlanta. So looking at that 100,000 number right there, kind of makes sense that they should get a good convergence of crowds from both cities, kind of driving distance away from both. So not only, fans from the state of Tennessee and probably Nashville, but fans from both of the respective cities playing in this game. It should be a good crowd. I don't think they'll fall short of 100,000 by any means. I think that's kind of a goal of baseball. They will get that accomplished. There's going to be a pregame concert by Tim McGraw featuring Pitbull. Right? I mean, this is just perfect in so many ways. We'll see how exactly it plays out. There's a look at it. There's the Bristol Motor Speedway with the baseball field still being installed. I know you don't need me to outline it here, but they're putting in the turf. Obviously, they've got some cutting to do. Looks like the infield is basically in and all tarped up. They've built what appears to be Atlanta's clubhouse there. I don't know where the Reds are going to be. Are they building a second clubhouse here? Are they using that building right there? I'm not exactly sure about all the logistics, but you can see all the work and preparation here. And I say the infield. I don't mean that infield. I mean the infield of the half-mile track here at Bristol. Bristol, baby. So it's pretty amazing. And just look at the grandstands here. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. That scene, that setting. I'm not going to promise that anybody will have a great vantage point here. Like if you're sitting, I don't know, over there, that's not going to be a great view. You will be there and you will see what's on that jumbo hanging screen there. But you'll get the shirt that you went to the game, but I don't know what your experience of watching the actual game is going to be like. But there should be some pretty cool experiences outside the stadium, outside the venue. This is a rendering, an artist representation of what it's going to look like outside. Obviously, they want 100,000 people to not only come and witness a baseball game, but also have a good time before and afterwards. Hence the pregame concert, hence a bunch of other things that are going on auxiliary to this baseball game. Here's a couple different looks from Sports Business Journal. They were there, like literally feet on the ground to see what's happening here. You can see an infield being constructed, a lot of tamping down on that dirt to compact it and make it work. I mean, they're putting this field over just concrete and asphalt, whatever's in the infield of the Bristol Motor Speedway. There it is, the world's fastest half mile. And look at all those seats. And just look at all the work that has to take place. They got to put in dugouts over here. They're building a whole separate grandstand structure. I should have pointed that out in the aerial overhead view. I think there's a couple different looks at it. They're basically building, 20 rows behind the infield and behind home plate to have a very good vantage point from that angle. You take a look here at another field view. And imagine, I guess this would be down the left field line here. But imagine you are, let me try this again. Imagine you're the left fielder out here. Right? Like, think about the perspective that you're going to have in all the wide open space. This baseball game and fly balls are definitely not going to play like you're in a Major League Baseball stadium. This is going to be a totally different environment. I credit baseball for trying this out. Honestly, this is kind of like what the NHL did a handful of years, more than a decade ago, in deciding to play all these outdoor games, the Winter Classic, the Heritage Classic, the Stadium Series games, and people generally like them. Now, there is a fine balance. I don't know how many times baseball is going to do this or try this again. We'll talk more about that later. But in terms of the novelty, and my goodness, here is the view that just kind of hits me right across the head. I mean, if you think about it, just look at all that seating out there in center field, and here's the grandstands. I guess it's not that many rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 rows down the first base side, and I don't know, let's call it 12 or 15 on the third base side. But look at that view out towards center field. Like, this is going to be quite the spectacle. And if they really can get 100,000 people here, it's going to be pretty magnificent. Look, you can even see the bank there of the track and the turn. The world's fastest half mile right there, and they're putting the seats in as they go. Look at all the work and effort for just literally one baseball game. Another view here from center field, and yeah, there's the grandstand that they're building behind home plate. So all of this is going to be unique. All of this is going to be special. I'm sure players are pretty excited about just the opportunity. Granted, it's only one game, so it may not make or break anybody's entire season, but it's something that players on Atlanta and Cincinnati are going to get the chance to do that, well, nobody else in the league so far has ever had this chance to play a Major League Baseball game at a motor speedway in the infield. The two teams are doing some special things. I like the fact that they're not overdoing the jerseys. They're not overdoing any of the normal appearance for the game. I mean, look, like, this is pretty atypical. Like, you wouldn't see race car numbers or player numbers on the helmets like that with Atlanta and kind of the checkered flag on the helmet. But that's pretty cool. For a one-off game, that's pretty cool. I imagine there also are going to be some pretty cool custom bats that pop out on that August 2nd date. Look at the back of Matty Olson's jersey here. What they've done is they've taken the numbers and added kind of the race car like polish and beveling to it to make it more 3D. Very cool touch, right? It's all the small things. And yeah, I'm sure merch is going to go through the roof on this stuff. Not only the teams, Atlanta and Cincinnati, but race car fans, race fans, they're going to love the fact that now there's a cross promotion and a collaboration here. How about that hat? Atlanta's on fire. Cincinnati's got the checkered flag. I probably should have switched to a more like better color here on the telestrator to stand things out a little bit, but I digress. You kind of get the picture here. Simple patch on the shoulder. And again, here's what the back of a jersey looks like for Cincinnati. So, like, classy touches, right? They could have done something overboard or too much. They kept it simple and straightforward for the jerseys. Like, make the stadium the spectacle of the game. But how about this? A tweet from broadcaster Jim Day, who points out the catcher's gear that Tyler Stevenson of Cincinnati is going to wear. It says Tyler Stevenson's gear for the Speedway Classic as he goes full Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights, shake and bake. I mean, that's pretty cool that the chest protector, kind of looks like the Wonder Bread car, and the helmet's all detailed up, and so are his cleats. And that's the thing about this. For as much as we've seen what the jerseys are going to look like and what certain catcher's gear is going to look like, he's probably had to break this in, right? You can't just wear it for that one game and it's ready to go. So that's why we've seen it out in the wild. I guarantee you, though, there are going to be some other cool and special things that we have not seen and we will not see until game day, August 2nd. But there's also obviously the merchandising of this, and I've stopped short of shirts and jackets and everything else and hoodies. But hats are pretty popular. By the way, what is the deal with the rope now on pretty much every hat I'm seeing out there? Not all of these, and not just the Speedway Classic merch, but like ropes on hats are all the rage here in the summer of 2025. I'm noticing that. This felt like an 80s thing. It's coming back apparently 30, 40 years later. But I digress. So yeah, you can buy some pretty cool hats. The Trucker Hat series. Which one would I buy? I mean, first off, Atlanta and Cincinnati, I don't really have a preference, but that one's pretty cool. The trucker hat's pretty cool. I don't know if the flames are for me, but anyway, yeah, plenty of merch as part of this opportunity. Let's get to some takeaways. Pulling off this baseball game, as much as we've shown you behind the scenes and everything happening, maybe you even forgot about this game, that it's actually happening. This is such an expensive and difficult project for Major League Baseball to pull off, right? They had to plan this. They had to pull it off logistically. They've got to make sure that it looks good on a broadcast. They've got to make sure that no players get hurt on this field that they just constructed out of nowhere. It has to be up to a certain major league standard. So there's a lot of mouths to feed here. There's a lot of things and boxes to check and people to satisfy. This is a very difficult thing. And it being difficult and it taking a long time, that makes it super expensive. They had to hire construction companies to come out and put this all together. Why is baseball doing this? I mean, they're maybe gaining new fans. They're going to get 100,000 people there. The payoff obviously must be worth it. Even if they break even, maybe it's attention. Maybe it's gaining new fans. What is the cost versus benefit? And that kind of makes me wonder, would they continue to do this over and over again? For the NHL, right, now I talked about how they played the outdoor games, and they still do. The NHL at one point went out and purchased the rink they needed and the refrigeration equipment that they needed, so they could basically keep producing games over and over at stadium after stadium, baseball stadiums and football stadiums. They can replicate this over and over. Makes me wonder here if what baseball is doing in putting this field together at Bristol Motor Speedway, are they getting ready to do this as a traveling thing for next season or the year after that? Will they do it every 2 years? Will they go to Talladega? I don't know. You pick. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, whatever it is. Will they start to go to other speedways and reconstruct this same stadium? That would make it more of a benefit, I think, in time, if you got to use these pieces of infrastructure and over and over again. But I don't know if that's actually their plan. So what is the cost versus benefit of doing this just once? It remains to be seen. I can't stress this enough. When you see the shots from August 2nd, when you see how many people are there and the drone footage they'll probably have and the helicopter footage and all the cool angles and perspectives and photos, this is going to be magnificent. I'm sure I'll do a recap video on just how it looked and felt to be at this game, using firsthand perspectives and broadcast perspectives. There's no question that when it's done, they're going to do it the right way and all the visuals are going to be captured. But again, I just wonder, is this the first of many? Do you think they should do this more than once, or do you want to wait and see how it looks one time? Let me know your comments and thoughts on that in the comments section below. But I do think this is a good time of year. I mean that in a sense of it's just baseball going on right now. Basketball's well done. Hockey's well done. Football training camps have already started up and kind of will be in motion by the 2nd of August especially, but no football games taking place, no college football yet. So you are at a little bit of not a dry part of the sports season. Golf's still going on. You're at a point where you can own this day. Baseball can own this day, August 2nd. As far as I know, there's nothing else major on the calendar and schedule. Baseball can have this moment, have this spectacle. So it really is a good time of year. But I can't wait to see how this looks and what happens at the 2025 Speedway Classic. Doesn't matter to me who wins the game between Cincinnati and Atlanta, but I'm just curious to see how this goes for Major League Baseball. I appreciate them for trying to think outside the box. I had my reservations at first about how this would go, how this would look. When we see it in person, it's literally starting to take shape. I wish him the best, and I just hope baseball does more things like this, because this, I believe, is the future of their audience, and this is the future of where the game needs to go. Not entirely, but once in a while, right? You need to sprinkle this in once in a while to appease your fans. Comments down below, thumbs up as well too down there. That'll greatly help me, the video, and the channel. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Please do it right now. I would definitely love to see you back here next time.